Hello guys, you are seeing Prime News Australia, where we show you the latest and important news of Australia in the fastest and reliable way. So come, let's start by not delaying 25 big updates of the Australia, especially for you. Before proceeding in the video, comment by commenting from which state you are watching, and also like video so that YouTube can reach this video to more people of Australia.
A massive fire broke out late on the 15th of April at Viva Energy's Corio oil refinery in Geelong, Victoria. The facility, one of Australia's two remaining major refineries, supplies about half of Victoria's fuel and 10% nationally. Firefighters battled the blaze for hours amid explosions and thick smoke visible for miles. No injuries were reported, but the incident has heightened concerns over fuel supplies during the ongoing global energy crisis triggered by Middle East conflicts. Investigations into the cause are underway. Australia is set for its highest ever peacetime defence spending increase, aiming to reach 3% of GDP by 2033 from around 2% currently. Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister Richard Marles addressed the National Press Club, emphasising the need to counter the most complex and threatening geopolitical environment since World War II. Despite record full-time employment reaching 9.37 million in March, Australia's real unemployment, including underemployed, stands at 1.69 million or 10.5% of the workforce. Roy Morgan data shows total labour underutilisation at 3.38 million. Official ABS figures report the unemployment rate steady at 4.3%. Economists describe a split labour market, with strong demand for permanent roles but persistent challenges for many seeking more hours or stable work. The federal opposition unveiled the first phase of its tough immigration policy overhaul. Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor proposed an ICE-style multi-agency task force to target over 60,000 visa overstayers and those with court-related visa issues. The plan includes social media screening for signs of radicalism or terrorism support, plus stricter deportation rules. Harry and Meghan Markle continued their 4-day private visit to Australia. Starting in Melbourne, they visited the Royal Children's Hospital, met veterans and families, and attended a Movember event with Western Bulldogs players. Meghan made a surprise guest appearance as a judge on MasterChef Australia. The couple then moved to Canberra for a visit to the Australian War Memorial. Anzac Day 2026 falls on a Saturday, leading to varied long weekend arrangements across states. NSW will trial an extra public holiday on Monday the 27th of April. Other states follow standard rules, with penalty rates applying on the 25th of April itself. Many Australians will miss out on an extended break, sparking discussions about holiday scheduling and its impact on families and the economy during a period of cost of living pressures. Reserve Bank Deputy Governor Andrew Hauser warned of stagflation risks, a dangerous mix of high inflation and stagnant growth, describing it as a central banker's nightmare. He pointed to potential shocks from the Middle East conflict and energy price spikes. Economists are watching the first key domestic data releases since the escalation, with the RBA's next board meeting looming as markets assess interest rate implications. The federal government announced support for New Energy Transport's Wilton Electric Truck Depot project near Sydney as part of its Investor Front Door initiative. The project will accommodate up to 50 heavy electric trucks, creating a major zero-emission freight hub to connect key cities. It forms one of 4 inaugural projects aimed at advancing Australia's green transport transition amid rising fuel costs and environmental goals. Energy Minister Chris Bowen acknowledged that the Geelong refinery fire will affect fuel production and availability. With Australia already facing energy pressures from global events, authorities urged calm and against panic buying. Billions of litres of fuel are reportedly en route by sea, but the blaze tests national contingency plans at a sensitive time. Viva Energy shares were placed in trading halt pending further updates. Defence Minister Richard Marles highlighted that Australia faces its most challenging security environment since the 1940s. Speaking amid rising global tensions, he stressed the importance of the upcoming National Defence Strategy and significant military investment increases to protect national interests and capabilities in a rapidly changing world. Since the under-16 social media ban took effect, platforms have closed approximately 4.7 million accounts belonging to Australian children. The e-Safety Commissioner is collecting evidence on compliance issues and preparing enforcement actions against non-compliant companies. Officials described the ban as successfully helping restore childhoods by reducing exposure to harmful online environments, with early results seen as positive. Meteorologists have warned that a potential strong El Niño later in 2026 could shift Australia from recent wet conditions and flooding risks to drought, extreme heat, and heightened bushfire danger in the second half of the year. The Pacific weather pattern may significantly disrupt rainfall and temperature patterns across the country. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese finalised a key fertiliser supply agreement with Brunei. The deal aims to secure stable inputs for Australian farmers facing rising costs and shortages linked to the broader fuel and energy crisis. It seeks to support food production stability and reduce pressure on the agricultural sector during challenging economic times. Mining magnate Gina Rinehart, Australia's richest person, suffered a legal setback in ongoing court matters affecting her extensive business empire. Details emerged in current affairs reporting, highlighting disputes within her vast mining and resources interests. A 77-year-old great-grandfather from Toowoomba, Queensland, became one of the state's oldest newly admitted lawyers. He studied law in retirement after feeling bored and is now seeking work in the profession. His story has inspired many, proving that age need not limit new career pursuits or lifelong learning. National Cabinet convened to discuss fuel security and energy challenges amid the Geelong refinery incident and global oil shocks. Energy Minister Chris Bowen provided public reassurances while coordinating state and federal responses to potential supply disruptions. Australia is involved in international discussions, including with the UK and France, on ensuring the Strait of Hormuz remains open for shipping. Disruptions from Middle East conflicts threaten global oil flows and Australian fuel imports, raising concerns over long-term energy security. The Australian Bureau of Statistics released March labour force data, providing the first major domestic economic snapshot since the Iran conflict escalated. Figures show steady official unemployment at 4.3%, alongside record full-time jobs, though broader underutilisation remains high. The RBA continues monitoring for inflation and growth effects. Farmers and agricultural groups have warned that diesel and fertiliser shortages, worsened by the energy crisis, will push up production costs and eventually lead to higher food prices for consumers across Australia. Calls for government support to stabilise the sector are growing. Immigration Minister Tony Burke defended the government's current migration policies against the opposition's new hardline proposals. He rejected claims of weak borders and criticised elements like Australian values tests as overly harsh, amid ongoing political debate on immigration settings. The Reserve Bank of Australia's next Monetary Policy Board meeting is approaching, with markets closely watching for any signals on interest rates. Discussions are influenced by stagflation warnings and inflation pressures linked to energy costs. Prince Harry and Meghan's privately funded Australian tour, including some paid appearances, has sparked debate over its purpose, costs to taxpayers for security and logistics, and the couple's mixed reception during their engagements. Following the major fire at its Geelong refinery, Viva Energy placed its shares in a trading halt until at least Monday. Investigations continue into the cause, initially linked to the petrol-producing section of the facility. The Australian Defence Force is preparing to release its 2026 National Defence Strategy, highlighting recent capability achievements and the need for further enhancements in a volatile global security landscape. Government officials continue urging the public not to engage in panic buying of fuel following the refinery blaze. They note multiple ships carrying fuel are inbound, though experts warn of possible tighter supplies post-Easter if global issues persist. Recent polling indicates surging support for One Nation, with the party drawing level with the coalition in some measures. This reflects shifting voter sentiments on issues including immigration, cost of living, and border policies. Authorities issued strong pleas to motorists to avoid hoarding fuel after the Geelong incident to prevent worsening short-term supply disruptions at service stations nationwide. A fertiliser deal with Brunei forms part of broader efforts to diversify supply chains and strengthen economic ties in Asia amid ongoing global uncertainties and domestic agricultural challenges.